Pumpkins, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people just use them for pies, but today I'm going to show you how I make something called a milk pumpkin. It has eggs and milk and it's just delicious. Let me show you how that's done. Alright, you lucky people, you get to hear my sexy voice for the next about 3 minutes. But first, we begin with some pumpkin. We want to get about 600 grams of pumpkin, or that's like half a good-sized pumpkin. And we're gonna cut it into bite-sized chunks that we're gonna put into a deep roasting tray. And we're gonna roast this into the oven for about, 25 minutes on 200 degrees Celsius. Meanwhile, we're gonna prepare some walnuts, about 200 grams of walnuts that we're gonna just quarter. And now I did something stupid right here. As you can see, I added the walnuts with the pumpkin and the honey before I roasted anything. Well, that was stupid because we want to make sure the pumpkin gets roasted before the walnuts get a chance, well, to burn. Well, I was an idiot and a dumbass, and I hate myself for doing that, so don't be like me. And also, that tinfoil thing, that was a stupid idea as well. Don't do that. Why? Because it starts steaming the pumpkin, and who the hell likes steamed pumpkin? We want to make sure we roast the sugars out of the pumpkin. While the pumpkin's roasting, we want to make sure we get a half a vanilla pod that we're gonna cut in half. I'm gonna scrape these fantastic seeds from the inside, which add phenomenal flavor to anything you bloody add to them. And over medium-high heat, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna add about a liter of milk into a medium saucepan, which we're gonna start heating up. And we're gonna add these vanilla seeds and the 2 pots directly into the milk. Why? Because we're crazy like that. While this is infusing over the stove, which is a fancy word of saying that something's getting flavor boost, we're gonna crack 5 eggs and we're gonna add a cup of custard sugar into the bowl. We're gonna bring out our trusty whisk and we're gonna start whisking together and making sure the eggs are all introduced with the sugar and they become firm friends. As the milk is nice and warm, we're gonna slowly start drizzling it into the egg mixture. We wanna make sure this is slow because we don't wanna scramble the eggs. After all, we're making something called a creme and glaze, not some sort of a strange breakfast burrito. While this is happening, we want to make sure we flip our pumpkin into the oven, and this is a good time to introduce the walnuts and the honey and finish the roasting process underneath the broiler for another 15 minutes or so, or make sure that everything glazes fantastically well. When this is all done and we're happy with our pumpkin, we're gonna pull it out of the oven and we're gonna add the sauce, the cream, the eggs and the milk back into the pumpkin, which makes the pumpkin a milk pumpkin. Put it back into the oven for another, 25, 30, 40 minutes or so, or until the eggs and the milk are firm. And now, as you can see, a whole different day, a whole different baking tray, but the same bloody shirt. I made the dessert again because I didn't like how the first one came out. As you can see here, the sugars on top of the pumpkin are nice and caramelized. The milk has set phenomenally well between the pumpkin slices. We finished the whole thing with a sprinkle of cinnamon, and if you feel fancy, 2 halves of walnuts just to garnish. But just like that, as easy as this is, we've made something phenomenally delicious and easy to make that recycles any leftover pumpkin that you have in your freezer. Now, if you excuse me, I need to go and find a fork and enjoy this by myself. Thanks.